All right. If we could have everybody go ahead and take a seat. Hello and welcome to the first of the series in the International Leadership Series for the 23-24 academic school year. No, it's 24-25 academic school year. My name is Dr. Nicholas Hudson, and I currently serve as the Director of the Office of Student Orientation, Leadership, and Engagement. This is the International Leadership Series, which this year our focus is globalization and interdependence. The International Leadership Series in and of itself is a year-long series that's made up of the different elements annually. We have a theme made up of the different elements of global citizenship. For those of you who are interested today, one of the most prestigious awards that one can receive here at the institution is called the International Leadership Fellow Program. It is attending 5 of these series. So 5 of 6 of these lectures, and then finally participating in the Art Center Training, which is located, which will take place in April of 2025. And more information will come up as it relates to that. Our hope is that you continue to invite your friends and to this event. We have different faculty that come in, students that come in. There's always food from different cultures. This is the only program that allows for you to receive a medal for a leadership program. So this is one of the better programs that we have here across the board. For those of you who are interested, take a picture of this QR code so that we can go ahead and get you interested in it. The sign-up form for the International Leadership Fellow. We do recommend that folks attend. That is always on the final Wednesday of the month, of every month from 3/20 to 4/20. Next month will be on Central America and kind of the impacts globalization in that region, featuring Dr. Pamela Newman. In November, it will feature international students and their experience here in the United States, so you can hear from your fellow decibels as it relates to that. We'll also have 3 more in the spring. So, we, again, from an institutional perspective, hope that you learn something from these sessions. And so we're defining throughout the year a lot of our program on globalization and interdependence from the Office of Student Orientation, Leadership, and Engagement. Globalization, as we're defining it, is the economic, social, and political integration of people across the world. Pretty simple, straightforward. Us being an international university, is kind of where we're at. So we're hopeful that we all know what globalization is. And interdependence is when 2 or more countries rely on and impact each other. And how do they do that? There's 3 different forms of interdependence. There's going to be 4 different forms: economic, environmental, social, and political interdependence. Those have more power than others, right? You think about it from that perspective, right? Who has access to resources? You think about global history. But now we're becoming much more interdependent. When we think about an economic globalization that takes place of wealthier nations relying on, especially right now, Argentina and Chile for a lot of mineral resource extraction for our specifically cobalt, which is a mineral that's used in cell phones as well as electric vehicles. And so you're seeing a lot of mining happening with that. Just again, who has control over others. So today it's a unique experience. We have not involved students in our International Leadership Series in over 7 years. We've mainly focused on faculty members, community members. And so this year we're integrating student stories throughout. And so to kick it off, gaining a global perspective, we're going to bring in 3 students that have studied abroad this last summer and within the last year, actually, to talk about their study abroad experience. So without further ado, does anyone else have the, where you at? And the banner, thanks. Without further ado, let me bring up Belmaris Velis, who is going to be our first speaker for today. Let's give her just a welcome.
Okay, hi everyone, how's everyone today? Alright, cool, so, hey everyone, my name is Belmaris Velis, so I go by Mama, and I'm currently a senior with a studying mathematics at the City of Armenia, and this is my study abroad experience. Alright, cool, so, I believe it was back in 2019, I have heard it like all the time. Before you graduate, telling you should always study abroad at least once. Me personally, I was like, nah, I'm not gonna do that, that's way too much money. But, as I'm getting closer to graduating, which I'm actually gonna be graduating this semester, I decided that, let me actually take upon those opportunities. So the first place I went to was in Paris, France, back in December 2023 with my organization, Semibado Puerto Rico. And then I actually went to Argentina with Dr. Hudson and with my other speakers. But yeah. Alright, cool. So the first place I went to was in France, and it was a really cool experience. So a little backstory. Puerto Rico, we actually got invited back in 2020 to perform at Disney Paris, but because of COVID, we weren't able to go. But now, 3 years later, they invited us again to go to France, and we took upon that opportunity. So this was the first time I actually went abroad, besides Mexico. But yeah, this is a cool place to start. So when we got there, first day, my friends and I were like, hey, let's actually just go explore rather than rest from the whole 12-hour plane ride. We're just like, let's go to a mall. So we walked around, and without asking our professor to go, we just left. And we actually ended up seeing the Eiffel Tower, and we were like, oh my god, she's huge. And I did not think the Eiffel Tower was that big, but yeah, there she was. And it was super cold, y'all. It was in the 30s, and yeah, it was really fun. And not only that, the second day that we were there, that's when we got to perform at Disney. So me being, a little venture. I actually stayed up really late first day, and then I woke up freaking late on the second day. So I was the last one to get ready to go to Disney. So yeah.
Mariquita se llamaba, la que vive en tu padrino, tápame con tu rebozo que ya me muero de frío. Mariquita se llamaba. Porque me la llevé, su mamá se me enojó. Ahora que me lleve a mí, a ver si me enojo yo. Si porque me la llevé, su mamá se me enojó. Ahora que me lleve a mí, a ver si me enojo yo. Si porque me la llevé, su mamá se me enojó. Ahora que me lleve a mí, a ver si me enojo yo.
This is a really cool experience. Right before we performed, I actually talked to one of the producers and they told me that we were actually the very first Mexican group to perform my Disney character. So I'm gonna look at it. So it was really cool and I honestly, it was such a great experience and I'm so happy to have done it with like all of the dancers, all of my friends and yeah. I know some of the people that actually went to Paris with me, they're here right now, and they could also say the same thing. So this slide, we went to Palace of Versailles, and we got to see a bunch of beautiful paintings, and, oh man, it was like so, it literally looked like out of a Pinterest, like board, like it looked so, fake, and it was just so astonishing to like look at everything, and, the culture over there was very interesting, like seeing like all the different people, the language for sure, and I couldn't have like I can't stress this enough. It was such a great experience. I keep saying that because it was a great experience. But yeah, I really encourage like those that are thinking of going abroad. For sure, France, one of the best places. And just like how people have said, I've heard from like people from international engagement, like money is just you should worry about money right now, but I think you should just worry about the experience. So yeah, I say yeah, do that. And then,
This painting is bigger than my apartment. I live in 62 square meters, so it's huge. It's 70 square meters, it's enormous. This was painted originally for a monastery in Venice. It's called San Giorgio
of course, right across this Mona Lisa, but yeah, she's actually really small. She's like this big. I thought she was bigger than that. But in the museum, there's over 30,000 paintings, and it would take one person at least 3 months to like see the whole like museum, look at all the sculptures, all the artwork and everything. And the picture, this painting, on my left, it's a 3D painting that I actually love, and the backstory about it is Michelangelo. He's like a sculptor. He was telling this artist like, yo, the best artwork or the best medium is sculpting, and this artist, I don't know his name, but he said that no, painting's the best. But Michelangelo said, no, sculpting is actually 3D. You can actually touch it, you can see from all angles. And this artist said, you know what, bet I'm gonna take on that challenge. So what he did a painting that was reversed. So one side is the front part of the painting, and the other side is the other, like the back part of it. So you can actually like see it like all around. Yeah. So it was really cool. That actually took me by surprise. And this was actually one of my favorite sculptures. It's the hermaphrodites. And I didn't get to see it, but one of my friends like took a picture and sent it to me. I was like, oh yeah, it looks so pretty. And then on my free day, my friends and I were like, hey, let's go to a spa in Italy. So we all hopped on a train. We all went to a plane and we went to Milan for a day. And we did a spa day. On the top, like they have a room just full of comfy like pillows. So my friend and I, we like slept. And we saw the Gucci store. Yeah, that's us at the spa. And then this is us like right before like going back to Paris so we can go back to Laredo. But yeah, it was a really cool experience. And then in May, my friends and I, a couple of friends and I, we went to Argentina, and yeah, if you can go to Argentina, go to Argentina, no matter what other people say. But yeah, so a couple of friends and I, we went to Argentina for 3 weeks. And Dr. Edson, of course, he was a professor, so he was really cool over there. He was a professor and our dad. So yeah, during my time over there, it was really educational. Yeah, at first I thought it was gonna be a vacation. No, we had to do homework. But during my time there, I got to learn about the different types of social movements that Argentina like holds. So there's a lot of marches, there was a lot of protests that went around. And honestly, like just going to the museums, seeing the culture over it, it was very added for me. And in a bit, I said let's gonna like talk a little bit more about it. But yeah, we did a lot of transportation using the subway, and it was my absolute favorite. Except for Alex, because he almost got pickpocketed over there. And during that time, my friends and I, we did homestay. So we stayed in a family's home for 3 weeks, and yeah, it wasn't just Denise and I, it was us three, and then 4 guys from Georgia Tech, and then a girl from Belgium, and then another girl from Boston. So it was a whole party up in that apartment. And yeah, during that time, I got to grow out of my shell. I was able to interact with not only just the same like 2 people, I got to interact with all of my friends and got to enhance like me speaking Spanish over there. Because I get to speak but speaking it over there, it made me feel really like secure. And yeah, so.
Okay, we are here in Argentina.
Hi,
Did you want to say? You're so
in
subdued.
New York.
We're not in New York.
Okay, okay, give New York.
It's not giving New York, girl.
Why is it
Here, outside. Everyone's taking a picture. Huh? Say hi.
Oh,
Hi. Ay, qué rico.
girl. Oh.
Literally showering. Drenched and gagged. Oh my god.
Then we just seeing the waterfall from the top, the highest point, and we took like around an hour and a half. So we got to like different levels from it all around. And yeah, it was absolutely beautiful. I wish it was actually sunny. It would have like, but. I really want to say that's how it goes.
Sí, ahí está. Muy bien. Bueno, ahora
No es de la lengua.
throughout this whole, abroad experience, and, I think it has, how is it? It helped me gain a lot of perspective of like the different cultures, especially outside of this work camp. It was a great opportunity to just get out of TMU and outside of Laredo, and yeah, honestly, if you have the chance to go abroad, please take it. Money is the issue, like, is an issue. You have resources, that you can do, and if you need to go alone, girl, take out that loan. You can pay for it later, that's what I'm saying. But, yeah, and so that's my. Take a look.
Next up, we have Linda Herrera to talk about leadership and social movements, and continuing on that theme about Argentina. Let's give her a welcome.
From the kind of recovering, but like Dr. Hudson mentioned, social leadership movement is really like what this kind of stuff. So I'm just gonna go ahead and talk about that. So looking for yourself. There we go. Okay, we start off with I'm gonna start off continuing off with what Bella said about USU. So USU was the place where we went to go to the waterfall. So I like to look at the picture as a talk. So really quick, so the top right, that's the brow, that's how big the waterfall actually is, and all the red, yellow, hopefully you guys can see that, that's all the brow that we just walking around, to see all the different points of the waterfall. It was really pretty, like on the side, I love it so much, it was worth it, because the boat ride, you were there, and it was freezing. So we had the opportunity to get on the boat ride to get actually on the waterfall, go around, get wet, get drenched again, and on the side. And it was awesome. We might have been early morning, the water was like really, really cold. But in my experience, it was a once in a lifetime opportunity. Like, I would definitely encourage you guys to try it out. It was really awesome. What's it called? I can't compare that feeling to anything else except cold water. So that's my favorite, right? Because he was so Argentina. That was right there. I did eat a lot in Argentina. It was one of my favorite things. And I know a lot of people like to say, like, or I have to ask, like, what's your favorite thing? I'm starting with favorite thing. What was your favorite food? I ate all different food. I wasn't really picky. I love to try everything, but didn't have like a lot of seasoning and stuff. So that's what I like to tell you guys. If you guys care about your food season, I will try to bring my own spices, my own tahini, my own chile, all that stuff, because I really eat that. But that is one of the as a passion fruit. So when we were in Eagles, we actually got to visit a tribe there. Then we tribe. And they basically disconnected, I would say, but they're in their own thing, where like we try to feel this whole way. So that tribe is actually what's it called? They have their own food, they have their own houses, they're not part of, let's say, like as mentioned, modernization we are. So it's really cool that we have to experience that. I took that food from when we had masala, so masala, like we have carne masala, so there's carne or not carne, just masala. It was really good. Basically, it was like a cookout for us before, I think it was before we went to the waterfalls. And we also took a nap afterwards. Yeah. That is a picture of what the asada looks like. That's like the one of the hike, like the trails that we took when we were going around Eagles too. And it's like one of the other waterfalls. Like there's just like one really big one, and it's like a ton of little tiny ones surrounding that. So yeah, that's Eagles. So regarding Argentina, more specifically Buenos Aires, because that is where we were at. So Buenos Aires, I did go on a lot of sightseeing. It was part of the class as well, going around and exploring what other Aires has, what you can notice, what it has to offer towards like my class is actually looking to go there. So regarding sightseeing, I did go to El Caminito. So El Caminito is really colorful. It's like really a popular neighborhood. It's like right at the river. It was really cool when we went, but I felt kind of hesitant. It's like in the neighborhood neighborhoods get together, like little block parties and everything. It was really nice. That's why I tried to actually gone for the first time. So it's kind of like hot dog, but it's not over there. Over there, it's called brunches, anyways. So Trayvon was really good. So that's the El Camino, and above that one in the middle, the top one, that's Yaku Corona. So the Yaku Corona is a theater. It goes back to the 1800s, and it's not actually, let's say, it's not just one country that had an influence on building it, because it goes back to the long time ago. So you have like Italy, you also have like pretty like influence on it, the building of it. And then up below that one is La Casa Rosada. So La Casa Rosada is just exactly like how it sounds, the pink house. The same way here, we have the White House, that's where the president is, and but the president doesn't live there, like this is the White House here. And then the top right one is me in like Chinatown, I guess. It's really fun. I went there like 2 or 3 times, so that we have a lot of food there, so I went back for that. And that's the only place where I can find the passion fruit, because I really love this. I keep going back to pick it up and have a snack birthday. So yeah. And then below that is what I mentioned, like what Argentina has around the city. They are very vocal about their history and what is going on. So this is an example of not graffiti, but also artwork that we had in one of the buildings in like the central area. And that is regarding a person like regarding social movement. Her name is Eva Perón. So Eva Perón, start with you real simple, you know. So she's basically like the Princess Diana for me. Okay, so Princess Diana, everyone loved her, everyone thought she was like really awesome. So anyway about her. So Eva Perón also nicknamed Evita. Evita was the first lady married to Juan Perón. So the thing about her is that she wasn't just a pretty thing, she was actually really involved with people of Argentina, more specifically the women, because women during this time was like the 1950s or so. They didn't have rights, they didn't have a right to vote, so she took initiation and she was part of the Women for Women gave the right to vote. She was really involved with the community, that she had an organization to help women and their children. Like for example, if a woman didn't have a home, but she had kids, she had a place for them, she would help them out, or with an individual needed money, she would reach out to them personally and even check out with them to see if they needed any more assistance. So that's one of the reasons why Argentina still loves her to this day, because the impact that she has, and even the foundation she still has to this day from when she was the first lady. So even though she was the first lady, when her husband was president for the first time, during the second term, she actually married with him as his VP. So that's an example of one of that's a picture of her at one of the museum that we went to, and that's her with the people at that, like it was like a home for the women. And that's what Evita looked like, and that was her for during the women's like rights movement for the voting. So fast forward like 20-some years. I don't know if any of you guys are freshmen here, or if you guys know about what's the common reading for this year, but it is regarding more specifically in Chile, and during that time there was also another event going on, but more specifically in Argentina. So in Argentina, there was the Dirty War. So basically, dictatorship going on, really bad environment, really unsafe. It was so unsafe that you can lose a friend, you probably lost your dad, your brother, you lost anyone. You didn't stop anyone, whether they were female, male, relative, nothing. Because during this time is when people started to disappear. So over there, obviously, it's Spanish, all los desaparecidos. So this is regarding people during this time of the Great War that they started to disappear and no traces of them. So this one is like, for example, there was a woman, she was pregnant, she's gone, no traces, they don't know what happened to the baby, they don't know what happened to her husband or anything like that. And fast forward to a time where it's actually, there's mothers, there's abuelas. These people care about their children, they care about their husband, they care about who went missing. No one was speaking about it. No one was in the government, no one cared about it, by the way, because it was a dictatorship. So the way how these people want to be heard, they got together and went to a plaza over there, it's called Plaza de Mayo, here, like over there. That's where they met together and just walked around. they walked around, they were starting a movement because they wanted to be heard. They wanted to find out where these people went, they wanted answers. I mean, think about it, with someone that you know, I think you would want answers as well. It was really hard when we went to like the memorial sites, because obviously, I put myself in their shoes, I didn't know how to function, I was speaking for a long time, seeing how these people were treated, seeing the actual receipt, all of the names. You see that one is a huge memorial wall that goes on for like, let's say, I don't know if you guys know, like, let's say football field, you got more, a huge wall with a bunch of names during the years, all these people are confirmed missing. That's the year that they were missing, and then it goes on, and it's still filling it in. To this day, it's still being named some people that are still missing. So this one underneath here is basically that doesn't matter, it was women who were pregnant that were also went missing. And these are pictures and faces of people who are missing. Is that it? Good, okay. I missed something. Okay, but like I said, las madres y abuelas de la Plaza de Mayo, these are the people that I think that was mentioned towards the beginning of the class of Argentina, because they want to know what exactly social movements and leadership is going on in Argentina, because I think that Argentina is one of the most known places where the people actually protest and speaking out about what they believe in and what they need. So when we went, that's exactly how Bob mentioned, that there was marches and protests. The first 2 days that we were there, we went to the Santa Plaza. It was empty for a couple of blocks because all the people there were meeting at the plaza. Because in this day, people still meet at the Plaza Mayo for any current problem. So I like to think of oh my god, people are staying true to the word, and they're gonna go with an example of that. So it just depends where it lives. Because for example, for me, I went from after I became a pregnant student to barely get involved, to finally getting comfortable with getting to know the people, finally wanting to speak about my experience, finally wanting to get to know more about other people's experiences, because I go from the known to the unknown. So I don't know anything about Argentina, but now that I know, I like to share that opportunity with other people, just to keep, not just more or less keep them educated, just to know more or less. That is more than just the community we have here in the radio, how other people are still involved with our decisions. So yeah.
And now we're gonna bring up Rodo to talk about experience. Yeah.
Did it say a virus warning? Did it say a virus warning or what did it say? Down. Has a lot of pictures. Sorry about
that. All right, then once we're finished here, we'll go ahead and get food here shortly.
Alright, hey y'all, so as Dr. Wilson said, my name is Rodo Corredon, I go by Rodo. I'm here to present the guys, I'm here to present to y'all about my personal experience with my trip to Japan. I took the people that went with me on that trip, love you guys, and still remember y'all, it was very cool, we'll see all the things you experienced also. But I did just wanna go ahead and start us off on this thing. Okay, so just like a bit of a roadmap. So I'm gonna go over, first of all, the arrival, kind of like that whole process, and then kind of the modern Japan aspect, as well as food, tourist attractions, culture, some of the more traditional aspects of Japan, and then at the end, kind of the lessons that I learned from the trip as well. So to start off, I'll talk about this, you'll see it's not that much, like, I'll be kind of yapping the whole way. But, so this was actually when I arrived at the airport, I was surprised to see like a whole Nintendo store just there at the airport. I didn't really expect that, but I kind of did, I wasn't surprised. So it's, you know, right off the bat, the flight is a little unbearable, it's like 11+ hours and then a few other connection flights, all of that, was not so pretty. But once I got there, I was like, oh my God, like, I'm gonna do it, there's no way this is real, right? So I want to go ahead and start off with the first full day that we had. So these are just some pictures. Mind you, these are all from the same day, all the different locations that we went to. That's why I'm wearing the same outfit. I'm not disgusting. So to start off in the top left corner for y'all, we had a cooking class on the very first day. It was our first activity. And I made that whole ramen. That they came out to me. We all made our own, and it was really cool. I could have done better on the presentation of it, not gonna lie, but it's still really good. I made the whole thing. And then you can see like the whole group there with our instructor in the middle. Super sweet, really nice individual. As we saw, you know, you might have heard the stereotype of Japanese people kind of being very polite, kind of having very clean spaces. For the most part, that was very true. You know, all the people that I met were just amazing. And you'll get to see more of that throughout this presentation. So just a few other things. There was a Nintendo store, like I mentioned. I got my memorial right there. I also had a mirror picture in a Pokemon Center. So all of this was in Shibuya, which if you don't know, is like one of the busiest cities in Tokyo. It has the busiest intersection in the world and things like that. And it was like, it was amazing. I was blown away, honestly. And then also on the top right, so this is a really cute story. So that statue is, I believe it's Hachiko. So this is the story. The statue is honoring a dog that would basically wait at Shibuya Station for its owner even after it passed away. And once the dog passed away, they actually made that statue in the dog's honor to. I don't know, I thought it was pretty cute. I'm not turning over anything, guys. It was cool, okay, geez. Yeah, we also within that same day got to see, for example, like the Torii gates, which you might see these symbols right here, the top right. Those are kind of like part of Japan's major belief system. I'll go over that in a little bit. But those are kind of seen as like gateways into heaven. So once you cross it, just regular land, right? But that's kind of like symbolically what they mean. And then I gotta go over this one right here, y'all, the second to the right. So this is a store called Don Quixote. For those that you know, this is like I'm not like a hyper consumerist or anything, but like that was a really good store. It was like 8 floors of just like random junk, but it was the best junk you could possibly think of. So just really good for bringing in tourists, and I fell for that. So yeah, it was a really cool time. And like I said, this is just day one. I have like thousands of pictures and videos in my camera roll. This one I like barely scratched the surface with this presentation. So a little bit of the acclimation to modern Tokyo. These are 2 separate pictures. So as you can see, the left one, that's it's a little bit blurry, sorry about that. But this is the middle of Shibuya crossing. So this was the place where I was just like, oh my God, like I also like call off guard. It was just like a very dreamlike location. I feel like for the first week or so, I would always tell people like we're not here, right? Like this isn't real. Like we never actually got here, right? Like we're not actually in Japan right now. Because it was honestly just that mesmerizing, and just seeing all the different cultures, all the different people there. It was just like wow. Like I'm like struggling to find the words for it. And then also on the right is Shinjuku, which is another very busy kind of city within Tokyo. And as you can see, there's like a little Godzilla head, and there's like a theater. That whole building is a theater, by the way. So we're like, oh my God, like they go all out with their stuff, y'all. And then like all the different advertisements and things like that. It was very fascinating to see. And so right now, y'all, another really important aspect of kind of getting used to Japan in general was the transportation systems. Trust me when I say like that, no one does public transportation like Japan. I will be honest, like no disrespect, and Metro got nothing on this. Because like I couldn't show you the video or anything, the full scale of this, but this picture on the left is the basically the subway line system for Tokyo specifically. And mind you, this isn't even all of it. This is like one company that makes one system of railways. There's also local subway stations. There's like a bunch of other companies that make different lines and stuff like that. There's the bullet trains, the buses, stuff that aren't even on here. Like, it's like, don't even look on Google Maps for all this stuff, right? It's insane. But, it was really one of the most convenient aspects of being in Japan. You could basically go anywhere. They give us like these little cards where you just like tap in the entrance to the subway system, and like, beep, and then you just go through, get on the trains, and it charges you a fare depending on when you go. It was all really efficient, very punctual, and but very fast paced. Like subways would stop and then go after like 30 seconds if you're not on there, like wait for the next one in like 5 minutes. It was like really that reliable and that useful. That I thought that I needed to include this in here, just so I got like a good idea of it. And then also there's a little Hello Kitty mural. The train station were pretty nicely decorated. So yeah, very, very cute. And then foods. I had to talk about this, guys. Y'all love food. I love food. I had to bring this up. So there were a lot of new things, y'all, and I'll say a lot of things that I had seen on social media that were just really cool to see in person. Like, oh my God, I'm actually about to eat this. So, for example, the middle one on the right, those little cheesecakes. So they're like the fluffy cheesecake that they're like super fluffy, like super big or whatever. Like people make videos about that. I'm like, that's so cool. I want to try that, and so I did. And funny story, so I got one of these with my friend, shout out to Eric, he's cool. He was on this trip with me as well. And so we shared one because I was like, I'm not eating this whole thing, no way. And so while he was trying to take a video of it, he had like a little piece of it like on a fork, and then he's like, it just like flopped to the ground and like, whoop, it just fell. I was like, there's no way, dude, like you wasted that. But no, it was just like really good experiences with all these foods. Another one that I really want to go over. So this one right here, the bigger circle. So they had a lot of revolving sushi restaurants. It was all like very simple dishes, but they were all so good. You could like just tap on the little iPad and they would bring them to you. It was like the most like efficient thing I've ever seen. They just go up to you and like one thing to keep in mind about Japan and like the culture that they have in general is that they're very introverted. So they love to have this like online ordering system where you don't have to talk to anybody. And so like I'm usually fairly extroverted. Like I can talk to people, right? I guess. But like I appreciated this a lot. I was like, okay, I can just get my food, eat, and then that's it. So it was really cool. Also on the right, it's kind of cut off a little bit, but that was matcha ice cream. Of course, and you know, matcha is native to Japan. They love matcha, and there's a lot of matcha flavored things that I tried. I'll be honest, not the biggest fan of personally, hot take. But it was still really fun to try and something that I definitely had to try in order to make the most of the experience. And then let's see what else. Also at the top, yo, so that's literally just fried chicken, but they call it karage, so fancy way. So it kind of is though, I'm not gonna lie. Like the texture, like the flavor, it's all really good. Like they don't just do fried chicken like chapo, like they eat it up with this. So and yeah, I just had like a little few flavor and all that was me like eating everything that I saw. So moving forward, so on that note of having, you know, like travel foods, the foods that are mainly like Western restaurants, the Japanese do it better. It's like they invented it instead of us. So I will say, for example, with KFC, we actually had one like a couple blocks from the hotel, so it was not, it did not have my case that I can just go and get some, right? But so before the trip, our professor, Dr. Lalamiar, had mentioned like, okay, guys, so we're all in agreement that we're gonna experiment with new food, right? We're not just gonna go to McDonald's or Burger King every day, and we're actually gonna like make the most of it, right? I was like, yeah, for sure. And so like that was my plan. I fully intended on doing that, but I tried the KFC and I was like, wait, it's actually really good. Like what? And so like even the chicken that's like considered fast food, like that's just really good quality over there. In general, the food regulations that Japan has. There's a lot of chemicals that, for example, we have here in the United States, that they just completely ban on the food. So it's a much more natural kind of taste. It's a lot better for you, even if it's something like fried chicken that's like not good for you, you know. But it's a little bit better just because of the ingredients that they don't put that are harmful to the body. And then another thing I thought was really cool. So this guy in the middle left, so he owns a restaurant called Tacos Hermanos. And so this guy is like fully Japanese, right? But he lived in Mexico for a couple of years when he was younger. And so he came back to Japan and kind of like mentioned the story that he didn't see that many good taco places like when he got back home. So he was like, I'm gonna start my own. And so this guy he has blown up on social media since then. The tacos are pretty good. I can verify us and authentic Mexican. They were really good. And you could tell that just like he puts his heart and soul into it. I think overall with Japan, there's the reason everything is so good quality is because they do take into account those kind of little details. Like, yeah, like sure, it's fast food, whatever, but at the end of the day, they make it with the utmost care. And then also Little City Mario Burger that I got from Super Nintendo World was actually pretty good. It wasn't just a food that like looks aesthetically pleasing and was bad. It was actually I ate the whole thing. And then also like Domino's Pizza, for example. Another thing I didn't think I would try, but at the end of the day, if you're in another country, it doesn't hurt to try these locations because they can always have like exclusive items or just different tastes that are local to their country. So I would say that was the main lesson I learned with these foods. Like it's always worth giving everything a try. And then, okay, I forgot to put that in there. So these were my personal favorites. So I had to include this one, but I was just but like, so this ramen bowl right here, I had a bunch like in different places, right? But this by far was like the best. I went back the next day to get another bowl of this. I had to like bring other people with me, like, guys, you have to trust me. This is the best ramen bowl you will ever have, and they agreed with me. I don't want to put you on the spot or something, but you remember trying this, right? Like you know. Okay, yeah, there you go. So just overall, it was spicy. Like I think my girlfriend mentioned it looked like pozole, like maybe yeah, it kind of does. But, like, did I care? No, not really. I ate the whole thing. And then another thing. So this little concoction over here. So this is melon Fanta. So think of like, for example, orange or any of those like fruit flavors, right? So this is a flavor that's exclusive to Japan. I didn't think I would really care for it, but like the first sip, I was like, I needed more of this. Every time we went to a restaurant, like either I would get like water or Coke, something out there, whatever. But I would choose this, and if I could go back, this is like one of the first things I would get because it was really good. Yeah, that was kind of it for the food aspect. And then, so just to cover a little bit on tourist attractions, there's slightly more, like I said, I'm not distracting the surface of what I'm saying right now, which is crazy. But for example, we also got to go to Disneyland. We actually went during the point where it was rainy. So I don't know if that actually influenced like people's opinion to go or whatever, but it was like super empty. So I'm like, dude, this is so cool. Like it's prime summer, there's no one here. So it just I was kind of running around and it was really fun. The professor actually gave us an assignment like halfway through our day to like plan. But then like we had to type basically like cultural differences that we saw between, for example, the US and Japan, especially with like amusement parks and things like that. And of course, like I mentioned, everything was super neat, super clean. And there's just a lot of care that goes into the maintenance of a lot of places specifically, which actually does have a lot to do with the belief systems, as I will go further into in a little bit. But I also, just some cool stuff like this giant robot statue. I think it's like Gundam. I'm not even a big fan of, but I was like, yeah, I need a picture of this. Like, no way. And then also like Super Nintendo World. All really fascinating places I was geeking out the whole time. Yeah, just other really cool museums and things like that. We got to check out something new every day, and there was honestly never really a dull moment with it, which I thought was really great. Okay, and so to the more educational part, so the culture and the local norms. So I will go ahead and start off with the statue on the right. So this is a statue of the Great Buddha. So we saw this on like a little beach trip. We kind of stopped by, learned a little bit about the belief systems. And so we kind of got to learn about how Buddhism is kind of one of the major religions in Japan. But the main one that people don't really, I guess, emphasize as much is the Shintoism belief. So that's the little symbol on the left over here. So that's where, like I said, the gaze and kind of the norms come from specifically. And what I thought was really interesting is that this belief system isn't necessarily a religion that people choose to believe in. It's something that's kind of integrated into how they're raised. Kind of like the teachings that they're brought up with. And it's just something that they're able to understand from a very early age. So, like I said, it's not necessarily a denomination, as our tour guide Ricky, he mentioned he was teaching us about this stuff, and it was just really great to get to know that from him. I don't have a picture of him because he was really kind of shy. But if you guys want to, you know who Ricky is, you know, let's go. But yeah, and then also this main picture right here. So this was me with, they're called, Michaels. So if you know the term geisha, for example, like the ones that have like the kimonos and all of that. So we learned all the kind of the history about it, and it's just really interesting. And so Michaels are kind of like, I guess when they're younger and they're going to go into that status. So we went to like a restaurant where we, the whole class kind of got like a little dance show. It was really fascinating just to get to talk, with the ladies, and it was just really good to see, kind of their experiences. But I will say something that is kind of unfortunate. I do want to, you know, be honest with y'all. Obviously, when you go to study abroad, you know, you're going to another country. It's not a dream world. It's not a utopia. There are flaws and, you know, things that are kind of, I guess, quote unquote, wrong with different societies. And so one of the main things that was emphasized to us by one of our tour guides was that, for example, like these ladies often have to be escorted through taxi, or they have to take some sort of safe transportation, just because they often get harassed out in the street. For example, tourists, they'll be, you know, asking for pictures, touching their clothes, things like that. That just make the environment overall very dangerous for them. And so while it was unfortunate to learn about it, it was also interesting to know, like, you know, this country has flaws. It's not just some perfect utopia that, you know, everything is right with the road. So I did want to emphasize that. I don't want to put like a bad note on Japan or anything. But I did notice that there was kind of that issue with tourism and just harassment overall. And then moving forward, so traditional Japan, right? So like I mentioned, there were a lot of museums that we saw, a lot of different historical pieces. So you can see right here, some really interesting samurai armor. There were a lot of exhibitions where they also prohibited the use of videos or pictures, just because they want to preserve the exhibit as much as they can. But they did have some areas where they let me take pictures. And then also this area in Kyoto. So this is another sort of like temple area, if I'm not mistaken. And so it's one of the more iconic spots in the city. And it's just really great to see again, like every spot that I saw on social media, I was like, wow, that it's a million times better seeing it in person. And one of the main reasons why I would say studying abroad is just better overall. You get to actually see these spots, and it just blows you away, honestly. No matter what country you're visiting, it will definitely be worth it. And then another really cute one. So they had this like Lucky Cat temple. I got to buy one of these and take it home. It was very nice. But yeah, if you don't know, the Lucky Cats are actually kind of like a symbol of luck. They're kind of used with like businesses and things like that to like literally attract customers and money. That's kind of the superstition behind it. I don't think it's gonna do that in my room, but you know, whatever, right? So just really cool traditional rooms as well. We got to stay at a temple for one of the days. And it was great. A lot of really interesting experience, traditional foods and things like that. But yeah, let's see here. I believe I have one more slide after this. Yeah, so what I learned and how I changed. I'll be honest, y'all, I did not come back to save you. It sounds crazy to say that, you know, a little exaggerated maybe, but overall what I learned from this trip is never really take life for granted. I think while I was over there, you know, I would always think, okay, how are we gonna, you know, do so and so things during the day? Like, I want to make the most of my time here. And then like as I thought about it, I'm like, okay, like, why does that have to stop at just, you know, going on vacation or like doing some study abroad trip, right? Why can't it just be enjoying and appreciating life overall and seizing the day every single day, you know? So that was definitely something that like really this trip kind of, I guess, taught me. Of course, it was also the whole public relations thing. You know, it was the topic of the class, and we got to learn from a bunch of businesses and stuff. It was cool, but the main thing was with life lessons overall. Not just, you know, enjoying life, but also kind of understanding, like on a broader scale, that not everyone has the same plans as you do. You think really not that deep, but I mean, every day, you know, we would have free time here and there, like weekends and all that. And people would choose to do their own things. And, you know, sometimes if you, you know, maybe want to do your own thing, it's completely okay to basically set forward and create your own path. Again, that's something that like, okay, it's like, yeah, we were talking about like tourist attractions and like, oh, I want to go here, but at the end of the day, it's a broader principle that I learned, that I think really strengthened my skill as a leader, is to basically just trust my instinct, trust what I want to do, And, you know, people have their own plans, they have their own plans, you know, there's nothing wrong with that. There's always a compromise, you'll always get to be with people, but at the end of the day, just step forward to do what you wanna do, fulfill your ambitions, and make the most of the time that you have in life in general. And yeah, thank you so much. I'm not gonna say in Japanese because I'm a little rusty with that, but that's everything. I'll take any questions after. Thank you so much.
The concept of globalization and interdependence is actually woven through all three of their experiences, right? So you can see how the United States is global in globalization and its effects of globalization is represented in both Dama's Paris trip, right? With Disneyland Paris and Disneyland Tokyo and Japan, right? You can see the interdependence that in the specific experience across the board. So I'm hopeful, I mean, even with KFC and Domino's, you're gonna see kind of the effects of interdependence across the board. Friends, to be able to showcase the things that I think we all like the most, we do have somewhat of a little bit of some good food here. Before I forget, I need everybody to take a picture of this. It's a survey. Once you complete it, that's when you